Let's go!
We gotta talk about this Tokon shit. We do. This beta has not even started yet, and it feels like it has been a marathon. Ain't even live. Y'all haven't even played it yet. Most people haven't played it. I am eager to play more of it after only playing it for like 40-ish minutes. And now there are so many things that have transpired over the last kind of like few days that it's sort of nuts. So just to be clear, I'm in a situation where I got very lucky. I got a confirmation in the first email. Does that mean that there has been a direct benefit to the usual content creators, broadcasters, video makers, streamers, all that kind of stuff? No. The first big point of drama that has already surrounded this beta has been that a lot of folks don't seem to be getting in. And I don't mean just from a streamer perspective. I also mean from like, for every 10 people you hear that applied for this beta, it seems like 1 or 2 maybe got in. It is all over the place so far. I see some people got in. So here's what's crazy about it. Folks that you would definitely expect, you know, at the top of the fighting game streaming pendulum, totem pole, whatever. You got dudes like Justin Wong and Sajam, Diaphone, Brian F, Sonic Fox, like all these characters that have been making content and streaming for a long time with consistent viewership and all that kind of stuff. Most of them saying, hey, we're still not in this shit. I usually don't make a lot of like videos, if not content around what other people are talking about and taking quotes from several others. But yeah, Sonic Fox is not on the beta. And they're obviously talking about it. Diaphone is not in on the beta. They're talking about it. Brian F. not in on the beta. Justin, I don't know. From what I heard from a while ago, like he also might not have been in yet. Sajam, I heard, had also not gotten in yet. I'm like, wow, this is Justin got one. Okay, that's good. But still, there's a whole bunch of folks that just didn't make it into this thing, which is kind of crazy. The premise behind this is all like, dude, I want more people to play this. I get it. Like discovering things in fighting games is interesting and I love it, but I don't like doing it alone. You know, especially in this space where I know there's a lot of really creative people that will just find weird stuff and they have a platform to discover and show off cool weird stuff, and we're all just iterating and building weird stuff and finding new stuff and showing off. Like it's marvelous, dude. It's the exact same thing that happens at the beginning of every fighting game. It's literally one of the most enjoyable experiences, even in beta form, when you just get to discover stuff. And the greatest part about it is that Tokon is a game that is an iceberg. We're looking at the tip of the iceberg, as we have seen before. I didn't mean to use the marvelous thing. Okay, shut up! The tip of the iceberg is obviously all the base gameplay stuff, but there's a lot, dude. And there's a lot that is like 6-7 layers deep that look like the game is going to get really interesting. But the problem is that none of us have been able to discover that yet. Not many people have had the time to be able to discover that. There is a lot more to the game than meets the eye. That's really exciting. It's really exciting to come out of a session of a fighting game and not really know everything, because most fighting games, you kind of figure shit out pretty well in the first like hour or two, at least from a raw mechanical standpoint. You kind of got a good idea of how the mechanics work, and then utilizing them in appropriate ways is usually what happens later on. Dude, we were not even at the mechanical understanding yet. All of the players at EVO were not really fully comprehending the order of operations, because Tokon acts like a very different tag fighting game than most fighting games, which is cool. That is a huge benefit for it. Back to the beta. The fact that all of us cannot jump in and do stuff within it is a problem. I don't want it to be that way. I don't want to exclusively like be the one doing it. I definitely hope that either during the beta's time frame, which unfortunately, this is drama part number 2. This is the one that actually gets me the worst. This beta is 3 days, but it's actually 1 day. The beta I thought went live at Friday at 8 to 9 a.m. I read the document wrong. The beta goes live Friday at 9 p.m. Pacific. It goes live at midnight Eastern. It is live for a few hours in 1 day, and then there's the duration of Saturday that it's live, 24 hours that it's live on Saturday. However, it goes down at like 9 a.m. on Sunday. So it went live the latest part of the first day and down within like the first third of the last day. So you pretty much got less than 1.5 days. It's so short, dude. And it honestly, like, it leads to some questions of like, it's 8 a.m. on the last day. It's 35 total hours, which is sort of like, I'm not complaining because I wish everybody would be able to play it, but that's a very short beta, dude. Most betas don't work, bro. I'm gonna be honest. I've been a part of many Arc System Works betas over the years. Here's the thing. It's a 35-hour beta. Do you really think that thing is going to be live and functioning in matchmaking for the entirety of those 35 hours? Hell no. Every single game, no matter how many games they've done rollback netcode, no matter how many games they have tried this stuff, from Grand Blue to Guilty Gear to DNF Duel to Dragon Ball Fighters, those games constantly went down over their periods of time, where you were just stuck on the main menu and it wouldn't matchmake and you're just not going anywhere, or you get into the game and the matchmaking doesn't work in the game and then you're doing some practice mode and then the practice mode goes down and kicks you out. This all happens several times, and then for the span of a 3-day beta, you've played for like maybe a day because it was down for like a very large majority of it. They were figuring out how to get it to work. Long story short, we already have a very short beta, and I do not anticipate it working the entirety of the time, which kind of leads me to be like, so do we not want to be playing this for that long? Is it still being, obviously it's early, it's being polished a lot. Do you not want that much feedback? Like, how much information could you literally get from that short a period of time? Is there going to be another beta in the future? There likely will be, but so what's next? Players aren't getting in that you would expect to get in to be able to make content and give impressions on the game and to properly expand and figure out how the game sort of works. The game is not live for very long. And then the next big, huge thing that sort of pops up, which has been alleviated, which is nice, is that potentially it wasn't streamable. And this was in the documentation behind the PlayStation Network beta program, because this is a PlayStation game. A reminder, this is like the first Sony exclusive, completely funded fighting game in a very long time. The verbiage that was present in a lot of the documentation, if you did get accepted to the beta, led you to a page that pretty much broke down at some point, hey, this is a beta, you're pretty much NDA'd. Your ability to discuss anything you played, much less document anything you played, is not exactly allowed. You're here as an exclusive relationship with Sony PlayStation beta program directly, and that's pretty much it. This is a private beta type of thing. To me, it sounds sort of like a generalized warning, like memorandum about their beta program. These rules that have sort of been here for all of their games that have sort of been and existed. To me, it was like, that seems extremely counterintuitive. Why would you have a trailer? You know, why would there be a beta trailer? We watched characters fighting each other in a lobby. Like, we witnessed it for us to eventually get it, and don't talk about it, don't stream it. It's like the antithesis of it. So anyway, all I'm saying is that there seems to be some interesting collisions happening. This was rectified. So many people saw that and read that and were like, uh-oh, that's not good, that the Tokon team directly had to go to Twitter and sort of remind everybody, this is going to be different for this game. We appreciate you keeping your gameplay confidential up to this point to work to integrate your feedback. We now reached a point in Marvel Tokon where we'd love for you to share it with the world. We're happy to announce that you're allowed to stream and share your gameplay. So it's not like that initial rule was incorrect. No. That was correct. That was indeed how the beta program for PlayStation works. They're making an exception. Keep in mind that unless directed by SIE in writing, as we're doing here, the beta products will continue to be confidential. So all of that stuff still, the terms of service still applies. But thank you for the patience. Enjoy the beta. That's great. So we can stream it. Okay, we can stream it during however many hours it's available during that streamable portion. Why is all of this crazy stuff happening? Again, there's a reason why people aren't necessarily getting in. There's a lot of confusion about streaming. These things normally aren't this way if it's a game made by like Arc System Works directly or Bandai Namco. Games that are published by developers that sort of have a history of producing betas and gathering feedback and engaging with the fighting game community and, you know, all that kind of stuff. I think the biggest difference here is that Sony has none. They were at EVO, which was crazy, but they were also not at Summer Games Fest right after it was announced, which was very very weird to me. I was like, wow, why aren't you guys here? It seemed like Summer Games Fest would have been one of the best places to debut that. Evo, the second best place, don't get me wrong, but still a weird decision. This stuff happens where it's tied entirely to the PlayStation beta program, which a lot of people are like code begging for Tokon. I'm gonna break it to you guys. You're not getting a code by begging somebody else for it, because the way this thing works, if you notice when you signed up for it, is that you have to like sign into the PlayStation Network. You have to be a PlayStation Plus like member already. Your account is the thing that it's tied to. Your account also has to be in good standing. You can't just like have been saying the most like expletive ridden shit in a Call of Duty lobby. They straight won't let you in. And then they had to effectively greenlight your account to be allowed to join a beta, Tokon or any other game otherwise, within their PlayStation Network beta, right? You needed to pass like a purity test, right? But that's just the way it works. You have to be an upstanding citizen of the PlayStation Network type of stuff. Anyway, that's a little weird because we're in a situation now where this random system that'll just pick up on any random person, any random chance. There might be like 500,000 people that applied and maybe they only put in 20,000, you know, that could be the case. Who knows? All I'm saying is that because of the way this beta program is operated and it's a Sony thing, it isn't the most ideal for a fighting game beta, which really needs a lot of people to be cramming on it, like it really does, to eventually alleviate the issues that'll happen at launch and alleviate some of the gameplay things that'll clearly happen. There will be some effed up gameplay things that people will discover within this beta, or would have discovered if it was going to even more people. I think this is all really boiling down to the fact that Sony as a publisher of fighting games has never really existed before, and them interacting and engaging with like the fighting game community at large is something that they don't have a long history of, so they're gonna have to pick up and learn that. Things will change, it'll get better. A lot of things will be a lot different. There will probably be more announcements and things like that at a more timely pace. We're already 3 months later and there's no new characters or anything like that, which seems like it's been a long time, dude. And how do I know that? Because I'm literally living through the exact same experience all over again. I was secondhand to a developer that was making a fighting game under a giant publisher, and this tiny little game made under this publisher was getting a little bit of buzz and people were really happy about it, but the larger powers that be knew barely anything of how to handle that. Over the years, they had to learn how to effectively distribute and market and make it a part of their cycle and all that kind of stuff, because it is a game that is making a community very happy. And that was KI. The way Microsoft sort of approached Killer Instinct as a game, as like an effective product over those years, had very much had to change, bro. That first like half year was rough, man. It was like this little XBLA game, nobody gives a shit about it, and no one's gonna care about it. It's just a little thing, who cares? And then it blows up. It's one of the biggest games on the system. It's in the top 5 played Xbox games. Oh God, it's huge. Oh shit, so many people are playing. Oh God, and then they have to start paying attention, and they start paying attention, and it causes problems because they're paying attention. Now they want to be a part of things. Now there's a lot more oversight that start happening because of it. Like these are all things that happen when it comes to fighting games that are in the grasp of very, very large publishers. They have to learn, and they did. They honestly did. It got a lot better. There was KI World Tours that were like budgets and prize pools were provided by Microsoft and stuff like that. That was awesome. It was literally awesome. I'm confident this will get better. But what I see happening right now with the Tokon beta is like it's a step. They are taking a step into figuring out how to do this. I don't think most of us expected the Tokon beta to happen when it is, but it is seemingly happening in the exact same time frame that like Dragon Ball was announced back in 2017. They had a beta in September of 2017. It came out like around the early 2018. I don't think that's going to be the same case for Tokon, but it does line up with what ArcSys has done before, and they need to get some of that online feedback as quickly as possible. I'm just hoping they get what they need. God forbid they have to extend the beta a little bit. Long story short, I'm not happy that I'm like one of the few that got in. I'm not happy that I'm going to be one of the few streaming. I'm not happy that a lot of other streamers and people that are extremely proficient at fighting games will not get their hands on it to discover cool shit. I think everybody is itching right now to discover cool shit and figure out some neat things you can do with this tag system, because the game can be played a variety of ways. What people got at EVO clearly wasn't enough. It was enough to realize this is cool, but I need to play more. We need to play more. Dude, we need a couple of days on this thing to figure out what the hell is going on. I hope that eventually, as the beta gets closer and we get closer, more people are accepted. I hope that there is consideration for downtime and there is extensions for it, because it is very friggin' painful, man. If you have an extremely like day-and-a-half long beta and it does not fulfill the demands, if it doesn't feel like we were able to even get a better understanding of what's going on. That being said, I'm still excited that it's really happening. I'm going to be streaming the shit out of it. I'm going to be there as soon as it goes live, and I'm going to be streaming and probably staying awake way longer than necessary. But I just want to be there for every single moment. And if that means that I just have to be up for as long as possible, I'm going to do my best. I just wish everybody else could as well, you know? I think I love the fact that a fighting game is new and you get all these clips on Twitter and all these things that people start showing. Check this out, guys, look at this. All the sharing of information and stuff like that. It's like the one time that it's like pure FGC. Like, to me, it's like purity, like, of what the FGC is all the crazy tech discovery, and everyone just sort of comes together to figure this shit out. It's like Christmas in fighting game form, man. I just want to experience that with everybody, is all I'm trying to say.